This is Eroca. Now, come stand over here. Isn't she beautiful? Yes. Now, these people love you.
Yes.
I want you to take your time. Hold that microphone right up to your mouth like a rock star. Now, I want you to tell them the condition you were diagnosed with years ago.
Well, Parkinson's at first, but I had, I didn't respond well to the pills. So they said it wasn't Parkinson's, it's multiple system dystrophy.
So what they said was, we thought it was Parkinson's because you look like you have all the symptoms of Parkinson's, but you're not responding to the medication because she didn't want to take the medication. So they gave it another name that would be another name that really means something's wrong. We don't know what it is, but it looks like something like this. Are you with me still? So then they put her in that box, yes? And then if you start doing the research and you start looking into it and you start reading all the symptoms, now you start believing you have that condition a little bit more. Yes or no? And then you start looking for, expecting it. Now,
exactly.
You've had problems with speech, yes?
Speech, definitely speech, eating, drooling, blowing my nose.
Walking. Standing up.
Standing, turning.
So with upper motor neuron conditions, the motor neurons in the brain that are responsible for animating the body or moving the body through space, those motor neurons are no longer communicating well with each other. And the side effect of that is this kind of paralysis, this kind of spastic paralysis where the body contracts and the person is in prison inside that body because they're getting more and more less animated, more and more stuck. Does that make sense? Yes. Now, she was sitting in the front row yesterday, were you not?
Yes, I was.
I was watching her the entire time. I was right in her junk, leaning into her because I love her enough for her to have an experience. You understand? Now, tell them what you were doing when you had this moment yesterday. Listen closely.
I was doing the breath.
Now, she went for it.
I did.
She didn't say, oh, I have Parkinson's disease, this isn't going to work. Oh, I have a motor neuron condition, and I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. She got into it. Do you understand what I mean? She got into it. I watched her. She got into it. And then what happened?
Well, I had a lot of energy go to my brain, which is great, but and an emotional response. And then afterward, I got up and I sat in my chair, and heretofore I couldn't get out of my chair without help. And I just stood up.
She's not done. Go ahead, tell them more.
And I hadn't eaten anything that morning. And Lindsay, my team leader, gave me a protein bar. And usually when I eat, food falls out of my mouth and I'm drooling and it's hideous. And I just said, well, I don't think I'll eat this. And she said, well, we don't mind. And I bit off a piece and I wasn't even thinking about it, and it started to chew. And then a little while later, I was up in my room and I needed to blow my nose, but I couldn't blow my nose. But this time I could. It was amazing. I've got a long way to go, but I'm going to get there. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Now, Is she the living example of truth? Yes. Now listen, she got a little taste.
Yes.
A small amount of energy made its way back to her brain, and I have found the research with upper motor neurons, with of course, volunteer rats that have upper motor neuron conditions like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. Guess what brainwave frequency annihilates the condition? Gamma. Just a little hit of gamma. A little hit of gamma, neurons said, whoa, we're getting aroused with energy, we're getting excited, and all of a sudden, they get an upgrade. In a matter of seconds, she's chewing better. She's standing up, she couldn't, they were helping her on and off that chair. She got up on her own. Now, she could blow her nose, she's animated a whole lot more. Here's the question. Is her future changed in one moment? Yes or no? Yes. Why? Why? Because she just got into it. She wasn't looking for her healing. She created her healing by just applying the formula. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, does she look any different than you?
No.
You can't have an excuse now. Can't have an excuse now. She is the living example of truth. She is a light to you. And when she sits down and she does that meditation and she does that breath, let me ask you a question. Is she going to hold back?
No.
I said to her in the green room, the only thing is you got to stop trying now. You know, when you have the experience and you start to try to recreate it, I said, don't do that. Just get caught in the act again. Just get into it again. The experience will happen. It'll be the side effect of what you're doing if you totally get into it. You understand? Because if you're looking, you're separate again. You got it? And if you're looking, you're not present. You're anticipating the future. You get present with what you're doing. Get so present with what you're doing that the act becomes the experience. And you forget about you. You forget about how you're trying to predict it. And the moment you take your attention out of there, there's an unknown spot for something to drop into. Come on, are you with me?
Yes.
This is a beautiful woman. This is a woman who's living truth.
Thank you.